Good morning. It is going to be a soggy mess today, as I expected. It's been raining hard on and off, but right now the radar is showing like right in the middle, almost like Moses parting the Red Sea, going around where I am currently. It's raining right now, but these are little tiny cells instead of just the big, huge amount of green and yellow that was almost causing like torrential downpours. Gonna play it by ear. Gonna climb Chestnut Knob here first. There's a shelter up there that's four-walled, so worst case scenario, I get in there tonight and don't have to worry about getting wet or wind, because it is going to get super windy today and tomorrow and possibly even the next day. And get quite a bit colder too. Not quite down to 20 degrees like I have been dealing with, but with that wind, it's going to be way below 20 to feel like. So just some things I have to deal with over the next couple of days, and do the best I can to deal with them, and play it by ear on how far I'm going to go. And some miles are better than no miles, so got to be safe at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm underneath a shelter right now, like a picnic area that's right here. Because it's raining a little bit, I wanted to put my rain jacket on and put that covering on. Went a few minutes with no rain, and then the rain hit again. So like, yeah, I don't want to be wet. With the temperatures dropping and that wind, so thought it'd be safe to do that today. I also have an umbrella here from a hiker box, so I don't know, might use it, might not. I haven't had good luck with umbrellas in the past because of wind and everything. They don't really do much good, but who knows, might come in handy, that extra level of protection. So going to get going here. I've got to cross Lick Creek first. Lick Creek the bridge is washed out, so could be up to my knees from what I hear. Just depends on where I cross, but find out when I get there, and hopefully I could get across it pretty quickly and not have to worry about anything. It's a slow moving creek. It's not torrential or rapidy or anything like that. So hopefully I'll get past that good and get up Chestnut Knob, and kind of determine from there if I'm going to keep on going or if I'm going to set up camp there for the night. All right, let's get this day going. I am on another no-name summit. Again, you could tell when you're on a summit. Every direction comes straight up to right here. I am warm. This rain jacket, man, it holds in the heat and makes you sweat. But I can't keep taking it on and off because it's going to be spotty all morning. Not sure what the name of this mountain or summit is, but I do know that it is in the bag. If the makers or the people who run the Far Out app, which is the navigation out here on the Appalachian Trail, are listening, or if anybody has an in with them, let them know. Put more summits on the map so people know when they're on a summit and what the name of it is. Some of them are on the Far Out app, but there's a lot that are not. I had a comment one time asking me what the mystery app was that I used besides Far Out for the mountain summits. It's not a mystery. I've said it before, but I'll say it again, because you might have missed that video, or other people might have missed that video or other videos where I've actually mentioned it quite a few times. I always have All Trails app and the Far Out app open at the same time. Far Out is for my navigation. All Trails is so I can know my stats, as far as the amount of miles I went that day. You can look that up on Far Out for the trail, but to, add in all of the things you've done for side trails and whatnot, that's why I use All Trails. And also the amount of elevation it'll give me, amount of calories, which is, that's more of a guesstimate based on your weight and everything, but my weight changes with the backpack and everything, so, and the heat of the day all comes into play with that, different things. But All Trails seems to show a lot more summits that far out is not showing. So I can usually find on there. The only problem is what you find on far out is there. It's like programmed in, so you can always see it whether you have a signal or not. I've noticed on all trails, yes, it will show where you've walked, it will show the route you've taken, the track you've taken that day, it will add in your miles and elevation, everything else, but for some reason, some of the summits won't show up unless there's a signal. And most of the time, I have to keep it on airplane mode out here because for the most part, I know when I'm going to have a signal. But I have to conserve my battery because obviously I record video for y'all and, well, for myself, but mainly for y'all. So I have to conserve that by keeping it on airplane mode. So a lot of times, All Trails does not have a signal, and sometimes those summits don't show up until later on when I look at the track I've taken and I'm like, oh wow, that part right there, I walked right over a summit. And so I look, basically what I'm saying is that summit I just crossed with the no name, I looked and there was nothing showing up as far as what the name of it was, but that doesn't mean that when I have a signal at some point that it won't show the name of it. So probably what I'm going to do is after I'm all done with the Appalachian trails, I'm going to go through and find out every summit that I've crossed. And you know, for the most part, I'm calling them out on here, but some of them I just don't know the names. And then that way I can have like a list for everybody. Maybe show that on the ending documentary or something that is put together once I'm all done. Or I don't know what I'll do, but I'm curious because I want to know how many summits I've crossed while I'm out here on this trail. You don't cross as many on the PCT. You wrap around quite a few, but not really reaching the summit without going on side trails. So anyway, just wanted to explain a little bit how that works. I use 2 different apps to give me all the information I need, and I have to use both of them to find out the summit names because sometimes they're different or show the different summits, or one will show one and sometimes they'll both show both, but All Trails seems to show a little bit more of them than Far Out does. But for people like me that like the summit, Far Out, please put more of the summits on the map. Thank you. All right, continuing on. I haven't seen any rain for almost an hour, but the sky seems to be getting darker right now, more ominous. So there might be another cell coming through. Still a couple miles from Lick Creek. Hoping it's not pouring rain when I get to Lick Creek, because I have to sit there for a couple minutes to take the socks and shoes off and roll the pants up, and don't really want to be doing that in the water. And then once I cross through, I got to dry myself off, put the shoes and socks back on before going back on the trail, because I'm pretty sure there's not going to be any rocks to cross on. I'm going to have to wade through it. I have waded through it before since the bridge got washed out, and that was only a little bit above my ankle then, maybe up into the lower calf. But I'm sure it'll be higher today because of the rain the last couple days. So definitely want to roll those pants up, because I'm going to get wet enough from the sweat and rain today. I don't need to be getting my clothes wet from the creek. But a couple miles from there, so hoping the rain holds off. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't rain at all, but I know it's going to. It's definitely going to be off and on all day, so take it as it comes, see what happens. I'm wet. It just rained for about the last hour, pretty good amount. I'm soaked, but most of this on my head and face is from sweat because I had my hood on. It makes it so hard to determine what you want to do because it's like 50 degrees. If I have my hood on, I'm going to sweat. If I have my hood off, I'm going to get soaked in the rain. It's getting wet either way. And it makes it a little harder when you're climbing up. I just had about a 700-foot climb during that rain, of course. Can't be anything flat or downhill. Has to be a grind to make you sweat at the same time. That's okay. It's not that bad. Like I said, 50 degrees. There's not much wind yet. Yet, at least. Really important to stay as dry as I can and to keep the contents of the bag dry today. There's a really good chance I'm just going to call it a day when I get to the four-walled shelter on Chestnut Knob, just because it's all closed in. I won't have to worry about wind blowing rain in or anything like that, or getting too cold in the night. Be good shelter. Tomorrow's supposed to be dry, even though it's supposed to be windy and cold. So staying dry is optimal. It's a lot less miles than what I would like, but like I said, some miles are better than no miles. So it'll be about 12 miles or so total, I think, maybe 13 by the time I get there. But a lot of elevation. It's like 4,000 feet of elevation for that small amount of miles. Chestnut Knob is about 4,400 feet up, so good little climb. Let's see. That's pretty much it. I'm getting hungry. I would like to eat something, but I want to wait till it's not raining at all because I got to take the pack off, or to cover off the pack, and then dig into the bear can. I don't want anything getting wet, so I'm going to wait for a little bit on that. I mean, I'm always hungry, so that's nothing new. It's not like I'm, starving myself or anything. Should be coming to Lick Creek soon. I think it's about a mile and a half now. And it's raining again right now. It's starting to sprinkle again, so be off and on all day. Boy, this climb doesn't seem to end. Anyway, I love to climb. I just don't necessarily like it with my rain jacket on. Oh, getting sweaty in there. They say more hypothermia is caused from 40 and 50 degrees than anything else. And I think I've mentioned that before, but you could see why. Wearing a rain jacket to stay dry, but then you sweat inside. You end up getting wet either way because it's mild. If it's cold and raining, you can keep all that on and not really sweating that much, but a lot of sweating going on when it's 50 degrees. All right, continuing on. Lick Creek is coming up. I'm going to build an ark. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go build an ark. So here is Lick Creek. As you can see, that bridge over there is not going to do any good. I guess this is where it used to come across. That there looks pretty deep. That might be definitely knee-high, maybe almost waist-high. They have that measuring thing over there, that yellow thing, but that is on the edge, nowhere near what that depth is. But the good news is, if you come over here, there's this other little section you could go into the water. And this is much better. Whoa, I almost slid down the mud, right? That's one way of getting in the water. But that looks like that might be mid-calf. That doesn't look too bad, so I don't know if you could see it on the camera. So right here is where I'm going to go across. Where it kind of goes down there is where it gets a little deeper. So I think I'll be pretty good right here. All right, go get my shoes and socks off and ford this river. All right. Shoes are tied on to the backpack. If you can see them, I don't even know if you could see them. Pants rolled up to the knees just in case. And time to summit this river. Wait, that doesn't sound right. I want to be careful of sharp rocks. Don't want to get cut in the water. Oh dear Lord, this is cold. Oh, it's so cold. About halfway up the calf right now. All that river crossing made me thirsty. That's where I crossed. I turned the camera off about, I don't know, 10, 15 feet in, because the rocks are real jagged and pointing different directions and real slick. So holding the camera in one end and the poles in the other, I felt the need to move a little quicker because it was really stinking cold. I've been through colder, and as soon as I got out, I was fine. It was just that depth, and you know, it's been pretty cold the last couple months up until the last few days in this area, so the water is pretty cold. Got to cross it though, and I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, wasn't no big deal. It never got deeper than halfway through the calf. I'm glad I'm crossing it today though instead of tomorrow, because I actually thought about just waiting this rain out and heading out tomorrow, and I'm glad I didn't, because it's going to be like in the 30s and real windy. And then crossing that then instead of now in the 50s, I wouldn't have liked that. But I basically just came over here and took one of my bandanas, dried my legs and feet off. Wanted to be real careful though, because I already have a cut on my ankle. I don't know if you remember from a couple days ago in the Grayson Highlands where I hit an ankle onto a rock. It did put a little bit of a cut right there, or scrape. Want to be real careful, because that's how you get infections, is those scrapes on your feet, and then water crossings like this, fording rivers. So really want to dry that off, and you know, when I stop later, I'll put some triple antibiotic cream on it as well, just to keep it nice and clean and safe. But anyway, I am over. That's the only part I was a little nervous about today, was not knowing how deep this would be with all the rain. That's the other thing. Tomorrow it's going to be another half an inch or an inch of rain today, so this would be even higher. Again, for me, not that bad, halfway up my calf. So someone 5 foot though, or 5'2", it could be pretty high on them. So as you can see, it doesn't rush too bad. It's a nice steady creek. I'll go through worse, and I've been through worse. All right, carrying on. Gonna be climbing up a mountain here pretty soon. You could fill up a 16-ounce glass with my sweat from my face and brow right now. Having a rain jacket on sure does make you warm. But with that rain going back and forth, don't want to take a chance. Been climbing here for a minute, about 700 feet in a mile. And getting to my next water source, which is pretty much the last water source before Chestnut Knob, which is about 3 miles and 1,300 feet past the water source. But since there is no other water source up until Chestnut Knob, and there's a good chance I'm going to stay there at that shelter, I'm going to check the radar and see if the weather has changed at all once I get there, to see if it's worth continuing on, or if it's going to be raining and dropping temperatures all night. That's a good place for me, but I'll figure that out once I get up there. But I digress. Being the last water source, I'm going to get 3 liters there for those 3 miles. That way I still have at least 2, hopefully like 2.5 liters when I get there. That'll get me through the night until early in the morning when I take off again. So that's the plan right now. For water sources, you do kind of have to have a plan when there's scarcity like that. There is a pipe spring up at that shelter, but from what I've seen of late, it's dry. So it might not be dry now with all the rain the last couple days, but I don't want to take that chance because then I'm walking 3 miles or a mile from the shelter to get water. So I might as well just get it on the way. And carrying 3 liters up the last 1,300 feet of the mountain, it is what it is. It's all part of the burden, baby. All right, got my 3 liters of water all filtered and ready to go. Down to about 1/4 of a liter. Camel up a little bit. It's funny, while I was recording that video, so you could see what I do when I get my water and filter it, I went to get the second bottle. I always carry 2 smart water bottles, and couldn't find it. Panicked for a little bit. Couple seconds, I'm like, oh no, did it drop out somewhere? I always have 2 water bottles on me, and it's not that I'm always using them, but I like to keep as close to 2 liters on me every time I resupply water. Some people like to carry just 1. I carry 2, just because I can sweat up a storm, and it's always good to have a little more than not enough. But anyway, I'm looking for the second bottle and I can't find it, so I go to turn the camera off because I can't just have dead space, you know, as I'm looking for the bottle. Guess where the bottle was? The camera was propped up against it, so I could record that bit. Oh, I forgot. I'm having some bright and shiny moments the last couple of days, I'm telling you. Oh well, happens to the best of us. But I'm climbing up 1,300 more feet, 3 miles. Hopefully get some good views up here, but I'm seeing fog and clouds everywhere, so I'm thinking probably not, but we shall see. But as far as the water, I have the 2 bottles, and then the pouch that I collect the dirty water from before I filter it. I have one of those full in my back pocket of the backpack. Not my back pocket of my pants, but of the backpack. Anyway, 3 liters will be plenty fine to get me there and to cook and do whatever else I need to do tonight, if that's what I choose to do, is stay at that shelter. All right, let's get this mountain conquered. Foggy right there, that direction, but not up there, and that's higher up. So I don't know if that's just sitting in the valley or what, but still will probably obstruct the views up top, I'm guessing, because the views are looking down into the valley. As you can see, a good portion of this last couple miles is basically on a bald. Great views all around, but can't be seen right now from being socked in with some pretty thick fog and pretty heavy rain at times. But I love it. Woo! Standing on the summit of Chestnut Knob. Not a whole lot of views as it's socked in with fog. Right over here is the enclosed shelter that I will most likely stay at as soon as I check the weather, if I get a signal here. Over here is great views. You just can't see them right now. But if I stay here tonight, maybe we'll get those views first thing in the morning. But I'm here right now, I know that much, and I also know that Chestnut Knob is in the bag. Here's a privy down a little side trail. Why not just go outside? I don't know. It's so gross. I mean, it's wide open for the world to see. You might as well just squat at a tree anyway. And then you don't have to smell other people's business meetings. Let's go take a look at this enclosed shelter. You can see that fog and those clouds moving through really fast right now. Sure you seen the picnic table over there earlier. And a place to start a fire, which I'm sure I will not be doing tonight. I guess if it stopped raining long enough to eat out here, I would. This actually looks like it's pretty big. This thing swings shut this spring. That's why. Oh yeah. Pretty decent size in here. Got windows, so it's not all dark. I was wondering about that in an enclosed shelter if it was going to be all dark. But you got 2 bunks there, a bed there, a couple down there, and one up there. Definitely fit some people here, not to mention the floor in bad weather. So, most likely this is where I'm staying. But, I'm going to drop my poles on the ground, accidentally. I'm going to check to see if I have a signal, check some weather, the radar, see what kind of things are looking. And if I'm staying here, I'm going to start getting dry and start eating. And hit the bed somewhat early. It's early right now. It's like 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon, but that's what happens on a shorter day for sure. 12 miles, that's like the least I've done for a while, but there's 2 reasons that I do short days. One is food, going to get food somewhere. Number 2 is weather. And with the temperatures dropping, I am actually surprised that the wind is not as bad as it is right now, because it's supposed to be up to like 40 mile per hour overnight and then tomorrow. And then the temperature's dropping. Maybe the front hasn't come through completely. I mean, that's pretty much a bald for the last couple miles. So I was kind of shocked that there wasn't much wind, but I'm sure it'll be kicking up today or tonight. So I'm going to check to see what I have for signal and go from there. If I don't talk to you again, I'll see you in the morning and live live. Hear that coming down? That is coming down hard. Like a Florida monsoon right there. I got here just in time. Pretty much makes my decision. I'll be staying here tonight. I'm going to eat a lot of food. I got into some warm clothes, warm shirts. Feeling a lot better already. Got to change my socks, get them dry and warm. I don't know why I said warm. I meant dry shirts, but that makes them warm. It is coming down out there. It's supposed to get super windy. I don't know if that happens tonight or tomorrow. I'm surprised it wasn't windy on the way here, because it's called for like 40 mile per hour wind, and I don't know. I guess I'll see. We'll check the weather here, though. I haven't done that yet. I just been kind of talk to, first of all, I was able to call my wife, talk to her. But besides that, I'm just getting some clothes changed. Got to eat and check that weather. And I'll be staying here tonight, heading out early in the morning.